This is the Magdeburg Hemisphere. This will be a review of air pressure, which, as you know, at sea level, the air pressure that would be trying to crush this on every single square inch would be 14.7 pounds per square inch. One thing we have our students do is ask them to form a hypothesis and to explain whether or not, if you were to take the air out of the Magdeburg Hemisphere, would it be harder or easier to lift up this handle that you see right here? We ask them to form a hypothesis. Right now though, there's air inside it, which means we follow Newton's third law, which is for every action there's an opposite reaction. Then you have the same amount of air pressure which is trying to make it explode, but it's also trying to crush it, which is why it's not getting crushed right now. Evidence is that if you're to lift it up, you have an imbalance of forces, which is why now you're able to lift it up, as you can see right here. Again, we ask our students to form a hypothesis, and what we'll do now is take the air out of it. Let's go ahead and close it. Okay, I'll just go ahead and make sure that we have this thing sealed. And then after the air is sucked out of it, we have the student test that hypothesis on whether or not it would be harder or easier to lift up. And then we also ask if the results of the hypothesis supported or did not support the hypothesis. Okay. We ask them to lift it up this way, not that way, and they cannot use this table for leverage. Okay, we'll try and pull it up. Okay, I'm putting forth some effort. I can't pull it up. And we ask the students to explain the reason why it's harder to lift up. And what they should then say is that because you have outside air pressure that's trying to crush it, and you have minimal air pressure inside or minimal air inside, then you're going to have minimal air or air pressure which is trying to make this explode. Now the next hypothesis we'll ask them to form is that if we put air back into this, will it be harder or easier to lift up? And you heard the amount of air. Then we'll ask them to explain. Notice I could easily lift it up. And then we'll ask them, did your results support or not support your hypothesis? If they said it would be easier, then they would say that the results supported the hypothesis. And the reason why is because you have air pressure which is now inside. When you could not lift it up, if they said that it would be harder to lift up, they should say the reason why is that there is no air pressure inside, and that those results supported the hypothesis that it would be harder to lift up. That is the Magdeburg Hemisphere.